myself in this.
Okay. What's that?
Hello?
Well, tell them to go to the Manhood Tree page.
That means we're on.
Can you hear me?
Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Manhood Tree podcast. My name is Abdul Rahman bin Muhammad. We are here with some great guests tonight. Alonzo, I feel like you should go ahead and introduce yourself because I want to jump right into this show tonight. I have a lot of good stuff to talk about. So, Mr. Beckett.
Bam. My name is Alonzo Lee Beckett.
Lee
Beckett. I'm the owner of Any Video production agency, and we do ads, stuff like that. That's me. It did get hot in here.
Yeah. So, okay, our first guest over to my left, I'd like you to introduce yourself, but I'd like you also, what we like to do for our guests so that the audience could get to know them a little bit. Please tell us from your perspective, who are you? We want your name, but give us the whole picture of who you are.
Well, I'll start with the easy one.
Yeah.
I am Andre Rochester, and I am a fine artist, curator, arts advocate, coach for creatives, and art consultant.
Wow, I like that.
I do a lot of stuff.
Okay.
Who am I? I am a creative's creative. I'm all about art. That's what I do. That's what I love. That is like my life.
I love it.
I'm fully engulfed in it.
Okay. And over to my right, this is their second time on the show.
This is my second time.
So, who are you?
My name is J.G. Kemp, Realtor Extraordinaire, 5-Star Realty.
Yes.
Yes, sir, from the city of Hartford, Connecticut.
I love it.
Live and direct.
Welcome back.
We're
happy to see you here again.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Tonight, we like to start off our show always with a meditation minute. We were doing like the actual meditations, but then we say, we have our Dream Chaser deck. So now we give everybody a card from the Dream Chaser deck. And so what I'm going to ask you to do, we'll start off with you, Andre. You put your card up for the people to see it. And then give us some thoughts about that. I mean, what do you got? Give us something.
I just tried showing my card to the people on Facebook, and it was backwards.
Yeah, so, I noticed that.
Mine says, "Have a great day."
Yes.
So today, I got a story for y'all. We're going to start off with
Bam, let's do it.
I love it.
I have a story. So today, a friend of mine, who happens to be on display at UConn Health Center, she texted me and said, "Hey, I'm in the building." And I'm thinking, okay, maybe she's here to like meet a friend or something and wants to introduce them to the curator or whatever, right?
Right.
I go upstairs. It's like a 2-minute trip to get to the gallery space. I go upstairs. I see her husband, her 2 sons, and I'm not putting 2 and 2 together yet. And I see that they're eating with somebody. So I'm like, okay, this must be the friend or whatever. It's going to be a quick introduction.
Right.
To my surprise, it's 12 other kids there and like 4 or 5 other parents. She got her homeschool crew to meet at the health center to view her exhibit.
Oh, nice.
So I took this as an opportunity, and I went in and had lunch with them because it was around noon.
Yeah.
And while we're eating lunch, I just offered to do a tour of the collection.
Why not?
And this was a great chance to to educate and inspire some youth. They were all like, I want to say like maybe late elementary, middle school age. So perfect age to do something like this with.
Yeah.
Pretty big group. So I'm walking around, getting a lot of people's attention while I'm talking about the artwork and stuff, showed off some special exhibits and talked about a lot of the artists that we have in the collection. And it was a cool opportunity, something I didn't expect, totally impromptu,
right? And
improvised the whole thing and ended up meeting a group of like 20 people and just walking around showing off art.
So I know you work over at the 224, but you also curate for UConn Health?
Yeah, so I got a few gigs.
Okay, yeah. Tell us about that.
I work at the 224 Ego Space as their program manager, and that job entails running a fellowship for artists of color called the Artists of Color Accelerate Fellowship, as well as curating their spaces and planning arts programming.
Nice.
The other job that I have is UConn Health Center, where I'm their art curator. I'm in charge of a collection of between 2,500 and 3,000 works of art across multiple facilities.
Yeah.
So a really big collection, and we have some really important artists in that collection, from people who were doing it as a hobby to like world famous people who have actually changed art history.
Right.
And then I also curate their gallery space, which is in the cafeteria in the main building.
Mm-hmm.
And we show 2 artists per quarter. I show 8 artists per year. And I'm happy to say that right now my schedule is full going into 2026.
Yeah, maybe later in the show we could talk about how you made that transition, because I remember when you were doing other stuff and you were thinking about like making this leap, and maybe somebody would want to hear. I mean, well, I guess we don't have to necessarily wait. So talk about that transition you made, like when you were thinking about going from being an employee of, I don't know, I don't remember what you did for.
I was working for a Fortune 500 company.
Yeah.
And I left my cushy corporate job. I actually jokingly, although it is kind of true, I tell people that I fired my job.
Yeah.
I let them know that I no longer needed their services, and it was time for me to move on to bigger and better things.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, what ended up happening, what led me to that decision, was one, that calling just kept getting louder and louder and louder. Anybody who's known me for any amount of time knows that art is my calling. That is the thing that my life is supposed to be about. So being in this corporate environment wasn't really conducive to me, being a successful artist. So I got a gig that paid me half the amount of money that I needed to quit my job.
Wow.
So all the excuses went out the window. As soon as I got that check, it's like, oh, it's on now. Like now I got to actually do this thing.
Right.
So I dedicated the rest of the year to saving money to be able to leave my job comfortably and setting up projects and stuff. And so I ended up doing that. I gave myself a year to do it, but I did it in 6 months because
it's usually how
I
it
couldn't
works.
take it anymore.
Right. Yeah.
and it was time. So
right.
I did it. And here I am 2 years later, going what feels like nonstop. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm very busy with my work, art stuff, curating, arts administrative work. If it's art related, I'm probably in it.
So you're not surviving, you're thriving.
Yeah.
So sometimes, I mean, I guess the message is that people got to take a leap,
Mm-hmm.
and they got to like really go ahead and do what their heart is calling them to do.
Yeah, you have to make space for the things that are special to you and mean the most to you. In this case, I made space for my passion.
Yeah.
I was living a double life, treating art like it was my second full-time
Your
job.
hobby.
Well, nah. I treated it like it was a second
job. It was a job. Oh, you were doing your work.
It was
16 hours.
People thought I was already doing it full time, and a lot of people didn't really know that I was working this corporate job.
Right.
Because all I talked about was art.
Right.
So I took the leap, and it was as if people were like waiting for me. Like the doors were just there, ready for me to walk through.
Yes.
And it was cool because I had a 2-week break where like nothing was happening. Here I am thinking things are going to get slow, and then like the floodgates open, and it's just been nonstop opportunity after opportunity after opportunity.
Let me ask you this: so when you were going, before you did it, or while you were going through this process, are you like a prayer? Do you pray? Or did you get to get what you asked for? Or
you do affirmation. What do you
like? You know what I'm saying?
Like I do certain things.
Yeah.
Everyone has something. What do you do to get yourself in that frame of mind?
My faith is strong. People call it manifestation. Mm-hmm. Some people call it praying, meditation, et cetera, et cetera. I'm doing all that.
Okay.
It's about believing in yourself, but also believing that you have a purpose,
right?
And there's some kind of higher calling on your life beyond what the average person does, right? Mm-hmm. So for me, it was getting my mind ready for this thing that I know I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And truth be told, I took longer than I should have to leave corporate.
You could have done it sooner, but you just didn't believe
that. I definitely could have did it sooner.
So I want to come back to the belief. But Jason, tell us a little bit about when you made the leap, because you're an entrepreneur as well, right? You sell real estate, you sell stuff. Mm-hmm. So talk about, what were you doing before, and what was your wake up moment when you said, "Yo, I got to go do my own thing"?
It's a good question. I've been working since 10, 11 years old, delivering papers.
Okay.
I used to drop the papers off on the sidewalk, and I used to go walk and deliver the papers.
Mm-hmm.
Used to sell candy and stuff like that. I think the decision for me was when I came back from Miami. It was 2002. I was at Gene's barbershop, Supreme Clientele.
Oh, he was just
shout
here.
out. He
Like,
was here last week.
shout out to Supreme Clientele.
What's up,
Yes.
Gene? That's my
He was
man.
just here.
It's funny how I didn't get into barbering. All the people I grew up with got their own barbershops.
Yeah.
I didn't do it, right? But I was in front of his shop one day, and I was just trying to make ends meet. I was fresh back from Miami, South Beach, and everything down there is all glitter and glam.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen my man Andre Manson pull up, and he pulled up in a brand new Benz, and I'm in a Taurus, like a 2002 Taurus,
Yeah.
and I got some rims out on the curb, and I'm cleaning the rims. And I'm about to go sell the rims, you know, make a little bit of money. I think I bought them. I don't know where I bought them, but I bought them. And God, man, I just said to Andre, I said, Dre, I didn't know his name. I was like, yo, what do you do?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I sell real estate.
Yeah.
I said, will you teach me? He said, yeah, come to the office on Wednesday.
Wow.
That's what's up.
I just went.
Just went.
And I just followed. And
like
here
that.
I am.
Yes.
So that was my original mentor in real estate. And little did I know, I got into a company, Century 21, on Paquonic Avenue under Bill Smith.
Yep.
Andy Johnson, who was one of the big dogs selling real estate.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize what I was getting into. I was underneath one of the biggest realtors in Greater Hartford.
Right.
And then I had Dre, you know, from the hood, from the area.
Yeah.
Who knew what he was similar like me.
Mm-hmm.
Who taught me what to do.
Right.
And I kind of ran from there. When I started doing real estate, that was it, bro. That was it for me.
Yeah.
Once I started seeing that side compared to, you know, the other side,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
I was sold.
Sold on it. So Zoe, what about you?
How did I know, or how did I?
Like, tell us about that first year. Like, you know,
It was similar. It's similar to Andre. I could have stopped a long time ago.
Yeah.
And some of my fears were like the stuff that come with getting the job, healthcare, like dental, like all that. Like when it's just you got to figure that out. Like then you have a family, like you have a family,
right?
So it's like I got to figure out how everyone can have healthcare, and I have to pay for that. It's not just coming out of my check. So it makes you more responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, I work way more than I ever did before prior to having a job.
Yeah.
Because I just have the fear of being like the fear of like failing, I guess. So I'm always trying to push the envelope or trying to discover a way to do new things and video and content or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, I could have stopped a long time ago. It was something I knew I was destined to do as well. I do a lot of every morning. I do a lot of self-talk affirmations, a lot of meditation in the morning when I wake up, all that stuff.
Right.
So everything that comes to me is kind of like I knew it was because I've been saying it all the time. So I do a lot of that, and I think we were talking about. I think it works. Some people think it's foolishness or whatever, but I personally think it works, and it's to put it this way, I'm not going to stop to see if it don't work. I just you know what I mean. So I do it every day anyway.
Stay positive,
right? And keeps me in the music and the music and what I consume every day, as far as like the knowledge and the stuff that I read or stuff that I listen to, whatever, the audiobooks. So that's all part of it. Like unplugging. We talked about them. Like I just think people are like plugged into the matrix of it. Like the whole school system, where like they train you to be basically a worker. They train you to work for a company.
Right.
And then at 65, like my son today, it's funny. He said yesterday he couldn't come to the workshop. I started a workshop at the library.
Mm-hmm.
Not the library, excuse me, Harvard Public Access yesterday.
Nice.
And I was gonna bring Zoe, and he said I can't go. They sent me an assignment I got to do for my senior, whatever. I'm like, what is it? They want me to calculate how much money I need to save so I can retire at 65. So
nobody's retiring at 65.
I'm like, yo, what?
Nah, they're in their 70s retiring now.
So he's telling me
I'm not retiring ever.
But
I'm gonna be right up in here.
And he's telling me that he was like, so I gotta wait till 65 to like retire and like have fun. I'm like, yeah, doesn't that sound crazy?
Right.
He's like, yeah. So you think about it now, like, why would you want to do that?
Yeah.
So he's like, why would you have me do this? I said, well, it's part, and then it's part of the matrix I call it. It's like they want you plugged into this. They don't want you to think for yourself.
Right.
They tell you to, but they really don't want you to think for yourself.
Right.
And then when you think for yourself, it is harder, but you can test was way more rewarding.
Yeah.
Like everything is, because like you said, that check come. And I had a similar situation. I was at ESPN when I quit. Basically, I got a wedding that paid me for a whole month what they gave me at ESPN.
Wow.
For a whole month, a wedding, and I was only there for like 6 hours.
Right.
So I'm like, wait a minute, this is. I'm gonna try to figure this out because it made more
Quick
sense.
math.
I need
Quick
more
math.
weddings.
Yes, I just needed to do. Then I want to do weddings.
Wasn't
I
mathing.
just want to
You
do
were doing
weddings.
weddings,
Yeah.
right.
It was elementary math.
Yeah.
Man, it made all the sense in the world.
So for me, it was, you know, when I was gonna leave my job, it was like a little bit of like I believe a lot. You know, I pray, of course, but I mean, I believe like we all have a destiny, and when I started believing my destiny was greater than the job. I started thinking in my mind, I couldn't like I literally used to live on Gillette. I used to live right down the street, and so that's why I bought this building because I used to live right down the street, and so I used to be like, yo, there's more for me. I know that there's more for me. And I used to think like, yo, if I could just figure it out. And so I remember it's always like a moment where you got to make a choice. And so I had my job, and then somebody offered me a job where they would pay me the same amount of money that I was making but the job was only good for 6 months. So that means he was going to give me 6 months to get my act together before whatever. You know, I either had to figure it out or go get another job. And his job started, I didn't have to get to work until like 2 or 3 o'clock. So that's basically like a whole day where I was free to go to meetings and try. So basically in that the 6 months turned into 4 months. So in 4 months, he ran out of money. So he was like, yo, you out of a job. But by the time that 4 months was up, I had figured out my people. And it was like the beginning of whatever we ended up doing, you know? And so it's just like everybody, one of the things, the reason I stopped and started with this is that anybody who's watching who is on the edge where they're thinking like, there's more for me. There's something I want to do. I want to try this business. I want to try this idea. My message to you right now would be go ahead and give it a try. Anybody want to jump in on that? What would you say to them? What would you add to that?
What does Jesse say in this poem?
What you want?
It's worth to try. What does he say? In his monologue, he says something about that. It's worth to try.
Yeah.
He said his dad would always tell him.
Yes.
Like something like you got to try. Like
Oh, I know what part you're talking about.
Something about you miss all the miss all the shots you don't take.
You miss all the shots you don't take. Yes.
That's a good one. Every person I've ever talked to successful, you know, and whatever successful is in your mind.
Yes.
Let's just say the older people. They always say you got to take risks.
Right.
You got to take risks.
Got to take it.
You know, if you don't take risks, you're gonna have that regret at the end of the day that you didn't try this or you didn't try that. That we don't want that type of regret.
Right.
You know, so go for it.
Go for it. Yeah. You want to add anything?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, you know, like I said, you gotta make space for the things that you're passionate about, and like you said, go for it. A lot of people told me I can't.
Right.
Mad people told me I can't. I didn't finish school on time. And there was a 7-year period of me struggling and trying to figure out how am I going to get back to finish my degree.
Right.
I'm making art the whole time. I was told to quit.
Yeah.
Right.
I was told, give it up. Go do this. Go work in this other job that you don't like.
It's a common
Go
thing.
do this thing that doesn't even fit who you are, right?
Yeah.
I was making art the entire time. I still kept doing that thing no matter what. And having that, I guess I used to say that work ethic during that time to not give up on my craft and to just keep going and keep going and keep going. That is what got me to where I currently am. You know, Abdul, I just said earlier that I treated it like it was another job, like another full-time job.
Right.
I'm working in corporate America, and I'm out here trying to do all these art shows, make artwork, be a part of all these different things, joining boards and all this stuff in the arts community, staying tapped in. And when it came time for me to take the leap, they were waiting for me.
Right.
I had about 15 years of arts experience as a professional under my belt before I took the leap. But that doesn't mean it needs to take 15 years for other people.
Right.
You just need to be strategic and set yourself up and be aligned with the right people and the right organizations and the right opportunities to ensure that you'll have some kind of path for yourself.
That's right.
So I wouldn't tell nobody to quit. I wouldn't tell nobody don't take the leap. I'm gonna tell you absolutely take the leap. Matter of fact, don't get that job after college. Go out there and work for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Go find them clients.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to some artists who are successful.
I try to tell kids like the best time for you to explore what you want to be is like high school into college. Right. You're in college. Typically, everybody in your family loves you because you're in college.
Mm-hmm.
You're trying to, because they believe in that. Right, maybe they believe in you're in school, you're going to do whatever. But you're in school now. You can try all these things. Your clothing lines, your nail tech, whatever you want to do. You should try those things and until they fail. Right?
You can take those risks.
Exactly. But
you got bad time to bounce back.
And who's going to
if you don't have no kids?
Oh, that's
true. If you don't like I want to be no. Because the baby got to get that milk. Like me, when I was young, I already had a kid, and so I felt a responsibility that I wanted. I had to go get me a job, any job, because I wanted to make sure that I had the, just be able to provide for my daughter. And so, I think that one of the biggest things that that I always say to young men, is, and I think this is very important, that don't have kids until you're ready to have kids. Mm-hmm. Don't have kids until you are able to take care of those kids. If you can. I know, some of us out here shooting up the club. But the thing is, right? But the thing is that when you do that, and I feel like we need to talk about this more. Yeah. Because what happens is like, let's take me for example. Growing up, you get a lot of respect when you can get a lot of girls. Mm-hmm. And if you shooting 100%. Up the club, right? It's like, yo, I'll just like. But the thing is that now you get somebody pregnant, and it's like, okay, now a lot of young men, they think they can walk away from it. Mm-hmm. But if you're going to be responsible, that means now you're responsible. Fatherhood is forever, right? Yeah. And so what I always say is that, $500 when I was 19 was a lot of money. And so it cuts into your ability to say, like, well, I want to try this thing out. Makes it harder. I always have to think about, no matter what I do, I gotta have that $500. And then I get my next $500 expense, my car. Then my next $500 expense was my apartment. My apartment down the street was $500. I remember when they moved up the apartment to, I know, when they moved to $600, I was like stressed out.
2-bedroom?
No, 1-bedroom.
That's cheap.
Yo. But my point is that, so chase dreams, don't have no kids. Because if you don't got no kids, you can always go home. Right. You can always, and so I just want to sidebar that in there real quick.
And I was at some legacy event.
Yeah.
They brought someone about parenting. She brought her
I was gonna come to that.
It was good, man.
Yeah, I was busy.
And the whole question to her dad what her dad did back in the day, the charter schools, it wasn't like it is now. Selection, you had to wait. So he slept in his car for a week to get his daughters into this school to play the violin, where she plays now and travels the world.
Yeah. Wow.
But he didn't know that it would turn into that. He just wanted to set boundaries, give her on a track,
give her a chance,
and give her the best. Because he asked, and how does she play the violin? Her dad said he just asked the instructor, "What's the hardest instrument to play?" And the violin. So he had both his kids, and I think they're from Jamaica. They're not from the country. Right. He came here and he was saying. And they was like, why did you do it? His whole thing was, when you have a kid, it's hard to explain, but it's like the best thing that ever happened to you. Like you can't, you can't explain. It's a great feeling, but you can't put it in words.
Right.
And he said when he saw his kids, he was like, my life is over. Like I wanted to do everything possible to make sure that they were okay no matter what.
Yes.
And he's saying the reward is now. I travel with her.
Right. He goes with her.
He's on stage with her.
Oh, nice.
And he's just this is the best thing that can ever.
That's the benefit of a good father, right?
And the thing is, when you talk about having a child young, and then the father walks away, he has no grasp of how much that helps the child if you just be there. Because your life is essentially, it should be for the child.
So check this out. This is another message I want to put out about fatherhood. And keep in mind, we have a whole topic today, but I'm on my fatherhood. I'm always on fatherhood. Mm-hmm. But so I want you're a young father. Mm-hmm. You're not young, but you got your kids are young.
I'm a new father.
You're a new father. Your son is young too.
I got.
He got the whole spectrum.
You got a whole.
You got 20.
But you got. I know my little man.
I got a 2-month-old.
You got a 2-month. Okay, wow. So check this out.
Keep him in the back burner.
My oldest is 29. She'll be 30 this year.
Yeah, I got a 27-year-old.
Okay, So so you can join me.
I had a baby young, yeah.
So one of the things that I learned, not from my daughter, from watching life, and this is why the term fatherhood is forever is so important. Your kids are gonna need you far past what some people think. There's some people that think if I can get them to 18, I'm good money. And the reality is that my 29-year-old, she called me last week and was like, "Yo, Dad, I need a new car."
Yo, that's deep, right? Yeah, it's deep. First of all, shout out to Luck. I see you watching. What up, Luck? And shout out to Mr. Best, Corey Best.
Here you go.
Yeah, he was in real estate when I first started.
Oh, he's in the show
doing
too.
the
Corey Best.
Yeah,
of course. Shout out Corey Best.
Yeah, so I mean, I didn't leave my mother's house. Man, I didn't leave my mother's house for a while. I didn't want to rent.
Right.
So I refused to leave until I bought a house.
Yeah.
And I bought my first house at 26, 27. I didn't leave my mother's house till then.
Right.
And it's funny, I ended up back with my mother just to help take care of my son.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of with my mother.
Right. But it's forever. So it's like basically the way I look at it is like there ain't no. So I want people to get that out of their minds that you're gonna raise your son to a certain age or your daughter to a certain age, and then they're gonna be independent. Yeah. No, they're hitting you up for 1,000, 1,500.
Because life.
Because life. And so we have me and my wife. We be talking about like we're gonna move out of our house. My son's going to college next year, and then we're like, it's time for us to get a little house. But now we're starting to say like, yo, they gonna be back.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be in a little house with these big kids.
Around you. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We want them to have some space. And so it's like, I just want to put that out there. I think am I the only person that ever heard that one? I just want to make sure I'm not crazy.
I think, and maybe it's our what do you want to call it?
Our culture,
our people.
Yes.
We have that 18 or whatever. Because I went to other schools with the persuasion, whatever, and they're around forever.
The persuasion.
Their parents are around forever doing things like they still do that for you. I'm like, yeah, I'm like, oh,
right.
Because I thought it because in our household it's like, go graduate, go get a job, you go to college, all right, but go get a job, help me pay these bills. Right. So that's like that's it. There's no like dream.
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Right.
I want you to work when you grow up.
Right.
So it's like it's different messages. Yeah. So we have to kind of like you have to kind of like get them out of that mind of like once he's 18 or she's 18 that you kind of like wash your hands with them. Not wash your hands with them, but it's like let them go fail, like hoping they would fail.
Man. Right.
Well, I think that as a parent, you're only going to teach what you know, and you're going to come from a perspective of what your experiences are and the things that you don't want to have in your child's life versus your own childhood, and so you try to reverse some of the mistakes that happen. You try to instill the wisdom that you got. Right.
Yes.
For me, I think that when my son is 18, I'm not going to kick him out. I don't think that's okay, especially with how expensive everything is right now.
Yeah.
18 years from now, it's going to be that much worse, right? So I don't want to set my child up like that. I was never kicked out of the house. My father didn't say, "Oh, you 18 now, you got to get out."
Right.
I was the one who kind of had a desire to go out and kind of get a roommate or something like that.
Right.
And truth be told, I failed at it. So
you went back home,
and I had home to go back to. So shout out to my dad for that.
That's right.
He's definitely very helpful in my life.
Right.
But I think that as a new father, and just kind of thinking about all the things that I'm doing right now, the one thing that I want my child to see is both of his parents living life on their own terms.
I love it.
I do not want my child to feel like they have to go work for somebody in order to be successful. I want my child to do the things that they want to do. If they want to be in Fortune 500 or whatever, so be it. That's because they want to be there, not because they feel they have to be there. It's not an obligation to follow the status quo. I took myself out of a situation that was giving me anxiety attacks because I didn't belong there.
Right.
I want my child to know where they belong.
I love
it.
And
it's my job to ensure that they are encouraged and they are supported in the things that they love and that they're passionate about, and to cultivate these things as they grow up.
Damn,
I love it.
That's my job as a father.
So we never got to your card. Let's.
my card.
Yeah, let's. Before we go
Go
into our main topic of the day, did you get a card?
No, you stop passing around. That's why.
We're gonna. Well, while you're looking for a card, go ahead, Jason. Give him your card. What you got?
My card is try again.
Try again. What you got to say about that?
Try again. Don't ever give up. I am the best example of that. Get down, or you fall down, get back up, keep going.
Yeah.
Just
Let me
keep going.
let me hold it up while you keep talking about it. Go ahead. I'm
Try
gonna keep
again.
going with people.
Keep going. Keep whatever goal you had in mind. You know, there's never no such thing as a loss. You always win, and as long as you lose from your mistakes, keep going. Never quit. You know, I mean, it's easy to quit. After you quit, what you got next? You know, there is nothing next.
That's right.
Gotta keep going.
Love it.
Always make your goals. Always have your plans. You know, live more present in the moment. Take it hour by hour, all right? And every day that equals up to whatever you want to accomplish at the end of the week, at the end of the month, at the end of the year. All right? Move with purpose.
What you guys though?
I have smell the roses while they are in, it says in bloom.
In bloom.
Smell the roses while they are in bloom. So, hey, let's go. Hey, May, I need both of you guys to come to the office. We're trying to, May is flowers, you know, April showers, May flowers.
Okay.
We're giving praise to the women of color in our lives that have.
I think I seen that.
Yes,
Right.
That
You got to come to the office and
Come over to
trying to get everybody out
get
for
your
May.
video.
All right. So, back to the point of smelling the roses while they're here. I would take that as far as like the people. I would turn it into people. Right?
Yeah.
So appreciate the people that are around you while they're here.
Mm-hmm.
Use the people, not use them, but you know what I'm saying. Take advantage of the people that are in your life and things that can help or you can help them with. I think just want to appreciate everything that's around you, like the energy that's around you. Appreciate the good energy that's around you and try to avoid the negative energy. You can kind of see that coming. Try to avoid all those things and have a positive outlook on things, right?
Always.
And I think positive outlook, positive manifesting. We're talking about all that. I think leads to what you're ultimately trying to get to, right? Whatever that is. Like I want to be a successful businessman. Me being all positive in those areas going to help me get to that point. So whatever it is you're trying to do, we're spelling the roses, but still, the people around you, appreciate them, and the things are around you that influence your life. You want to appreciate those as well.
Can I just add to that?
Yeah.
When I saw that, I thought, just be present. Be present. Allow yourself to enjoy the moment that you're in, because you're not gonna get it back. And just take a moment to, be grateful for where you are and what you got going on. Like you said, the people in your life and so on and so forth. Just be present. Yeah. Allow yourself to take that time to really see where you are.
So my card is the best card of them all.
Never stop dreaming.
Never stop dreaming. Yo, this is the key to life right here. This for anybody that is seeking success. These 3 words is the answer. Imagine that you go out in the world and you have a dream, and you go out and pursue that dream, and then you actually accomplish the dream that you have. A lot of people will rest on the laurels of completing their dream. They'll say, I did it. I made it to the top of the mountain. But see, dream chasers, we go back to the never stop dreaming. We go back to, I just accomplished a dream, but now I'm still alive. There's still more energy in me. And so there must be another dream that I must conquer. There must be more that I can do with my life. So we say never stop dreaming because we know that there's always more. We know that we must go out there and continue to pursue. Life is long. And so you should have tons of dreams that you are in pursuit of. And so never get to the point where you're just satisfied. Always want a little more and never stop dreaming. Pangos!
Never stop dreaming.
All right, tonight our topic is impact. I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking about, as men, this is the first question I want to throw out there. So for men, what should be the number one area of impact? What should be their number one area of impact and why? For men as a whole, like, so if you think of men in general, what should be the number one area that they're trying to impact and why? This is according to you guys. What do you think?
Legacy.
Legacy. Talk to me.
I say that because that can be generational.
Yep.
Financial as well. Financially they'll be secure, land and trust and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So as if they had some missteps in life or some hardships in life, they have something to fall back on. That's what our counterparts. They all have that. I know a lot of kids that I grew up with in high school. They were allowed to mess up 3-4 times because the way their family was set up, the legacy of their family allowed them to mess up.
Right.
Right.
That was how it was set up.
It was set up like that.
Wow.
And I think in people around me and the people I know, it's not set up that way. You can't mess up at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way it's been designed, we start over every generation.
Wow.
All right. So the legacy part is like to have something.
Right.
Because I know some people as well that don't deserve anything. They have land that someone left them, and they don't work or do nothing, just chill on the land and drink beers.
Right.
And because their great grandfather probably got the land, whatever, but they got the land.
Yes.
And they live off of it. Right.
Yeah.
With no attachment, they didn't do anything for it.
Right.
So they have a step up in life.
Yeah.
Because of the legacy.
The legacy.
Or however their parents did it,
or
whatever forefathers did, they have that leg up. So I believe legacy would be the key, so you can pass it on generations and some stability.
Yes.
In your family.
Anybody else want to get on that? Legacy. So that's number one. What else we gonna add?
So before I add, I just want to point out that I'm having a senior moment right now.
You forgot how to use a phone?
Yeah, actually. So I'm looking at Facebook Live, right? Every time somebody pops up in my live, it says bring them on camera. So I'm thinking like they're requesting that
no,
I
they're
bring
just there
on camera.
Right.
So I'm like, y'all don't see me moving the camera. Then I'm like, oh, they joined, and this is
yes,
Facebook
you could.
telling me
Yes,
right.
yes,
right.
Yes,
so y'all, I'm only 39 years old.
Oh man,
like I'm about 75.
Yeah.
Anyway, so legacy, I love that because my answer was going to be family.
Family, okay.
And family. I think that the people you impact the most are going to be the people who are closest to you, right? So for me, it's family. I talked about how I want my child to see us living life a certain way.
Right.
With that comes those signs of success. What does success look like? For me, it's the ability to be of service to other people without compromising your quality of life.
Right.
The more I'm able to be of service, based on this, the better I'm personally living.
Right.
So my son needs to see that. My son needs to witness that because that's my legacy, being somebody who's of service. For me, every bit of success that I've gotten so far has actually included helping somebody.
Right.
And that's, that's the type of, characteristics that I want my kid to have. So I want to leave that.
Yeah.
I want that to be my impact. I want that to be something that he passes down on to his kids. And from him seeing me doing this, he's going to brag about his daddy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So now by impacting him in that way, he's going to impact other kids because he's going to emulate the things that I do. Now he's going to find ways to be of service, but he's going to find ways to make sure that he's doing well so that he can help other people.
Right.
So in a way, it's a legacy of self-care, but it's also a legacy of understanding that with self-care and being well taken care of, you are in a position to ensure other people are good.
Okay. So we got legacy, we got family. You got something you want to add to that? You want to give us another word? What do you think?
Also, I'm looking at Webster's definition of impact.
Okay. I like it. I like it.
Right? So,
I like it. What does it say?
Force
Yep.
of impression of one thing on another.
Yes.
Right? A significant or major effect.
Yes.
I want to have an impact on the world.
On the world.
I want to be a productive member of society.
I love it. I love it.
I want to be the proper role model, where some of these kids where we're from can look up to and be able to walk in that direction.
Right.
And be proud to say, we know that person. And we can strive to be better.
Right.
If we can. That's that inspiration.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you don't see a lot of people, doing the right things. And so I just strive to be more impactful in that manner, just being somebody doing the right thing.
Right. I like it.
As I get older.
I like it. Hey, the young people, maybe there's a young person in your family. You should have them come tune into the Manhood Tree. We're here every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And most weeks, I don't think we've ever had a weekend where this wasn't true. We have good, positive people in our community on our show. Yeah. These are like people you could catch.
All walks of life.
You know, all walks of life. Yeah. You could catch them on the Manhood Tree show talking about whatever it is they're into. All right. For me, I think for men, what should be the number one area of impact? I'm agreeing with what you guys said.